Wolf Show, you know there's two things that we've always said our show stops for, and it's military and first responders as one category, and it's kids for the second category. And they're both equal, and never did we think we'd have a story that fits both at the same time. We're going to talk to James about his daughter Addison and his wife Briana. Unfortunately, we won't be able to talk to Briana. She was diagnosed with melanoma 6 years ago, and she has passed away. And I think if you know the Doug and Wolf Show, you know how much Briana's story is going to kick us in the heart. James, tell us first of all how you met your wife.
I met my wife when we were both in the military, stationed overseas in Germany. And we long distance relationship after I came to Arizona and got married in 2005.
James, can you tell us what Briana was like?
We kindly referred to her as a bulldog. She was aggressive. She got things done. She did what she wanted to. She enjoyed life, and she would fight mercilessly for her kids, whatever it took. So, mercilessly doesn't sound like a good word, but she took care of people. That was what she cared about.
What's before we get to Addison's story, what is Briana's story? Why isn't she here right now? What happened? And take us through a little bit of Addison.
It started off in 2005, towards the end of the year. She was actually at work, and a doctor came out of his office, handed her a business card, and said schedule an appointment. So when she was done dealing with the situation she was involved in, she went inside.
Now, when you say situation, there's a lot of people that don't know. What was work? What was she doing at the time?
At that time, she was a Phoenix police officer out in the 700 area, which is out by Squaw Peak.
So she's military, then she becomes one of Phoenix's finest, and then you said that a doctor says, come and talk to me about after your situation, which is a police situation. So what did the doctor talk to her about?
He saw on the side of her head by her ear a melanoma spot. She had it for years. Nobody had ever been concerned whenever she went to a regular checkup or anything. So she came in, he explained to her what he was concerned about. He actually got her in the office within a couple of days, biopsied it, and once the biopsy came back, it was determined that it was a melanoma. Within a month, she had surgery, had clear margins, was given a good diagnosis, hey, we've got it, that's the only one we see. Clear margins means it doesn't look like it's spread or anything. So after that, she followed the doctor's orders, came in every 3 months for about a year or so, and then it was every 6 months. Then it gradually over time spread out. And then out of the blue, our youngest son, David, was born in 2008, no medical problems. Addison was born last year. About 6 weeks after that, Briana was out walking because she liked to exercise, and she collapsed. The ambulance came by the house. I was overseas. Grandma was watching the kids, and they said, we're transporting her to the nearby hospital. They took her straight to Del Webb. At Del Webb, they did x-ray scans, make sure she didn't hurt herself. They said, we believe you have metastasized cancer, melanoma most likely, and they immediately transferred her to Banner Sam. And within 24 hours-ish, I was home, and she had a diagnosis of stage 4 metastasized melanoma. At that time, we asked, hey, what about Addison? She's been pregnant with her. Obviously, this started sometime during that, unbeknownst to everybody. And then some of the doctors said, it doesn't happen. Don't worry about it.
Meaning the cancer won't go to Addison from Briana?
Yes. We were still concerned. My wife had a new oncologist. He got us into a dermatologist because we saw a couple spots on Addison's scalp that didn't look right. They biopsied him the next day, and a week later we were told you have an appointment at Phoenix Children's Hospital. The staff is expecting you. You may know we've contacted the drug manufacturer, the medicine your wife's on, the whole 9 yards, and we've been going here since then, getting Addison care. She receives it's not experimental. She's not in a clinical trial, but the FDA had to approve the use of the medicine for Addison, based on, at the time, it was working for her mother. But unfortunately, Addison's diagnosis was the same, stage 4 metastasized malignant melanoma, which basically means she has tumors or lesions quite widespread through her body. In her brain, she actually has one on the back of her tongue, in her lungs, livers, kidneys. A couple that are in the scalp area, and then some that are unfortunately are inside the brain.
Well, take a second and take the lid off because I know she's dying for drinking.
Yeah, she likes her water.
I can see that you're holding Addison, obviously, this beautiful little girl, and she looks so healthy. She looks beautiful. She looks so healthy. What exactly is the prognosis for Addison?
The prognosis hasn't changed. When she was diagnosed, it was stage 4, 12 to 18 months. Addison just hit 16 months on Monday, and like you said, you can't tell if she's sick.
602-933-4567 is the phone number to donate to fighters like Addison. And then there's another piece of information. Wolf asked you a little bit ago the question, what was Briana like? And obviously there is a reason for that question when we said past tense. Tell us about Briana and raising Addison.
Briana passed away in February, about 6 months after Addison was diagnosed, and the hardest thing for her wasn't dealing with that she was going to pass, but dealing with what was going on with Addison. When we got married, obviously she had kids in her early 30s, and she was being a mother was very important to her. So it took a long time for her to understand that it wasn't her fault. It was just an unfortunate thing. No diagnosis. You can't do anything if you don't know there's something wrong. But the thing she asked for is that we work with whoever we can to spread information and help people understand and give back to Phoenix Children's,
James,
because they give so much to us.
James, I have to ask you this. You're holding your beautiful little girl. They tell you 18 to 24 months. How are you doing?
Every day is a different challenge, basically. How is she going to feel that day? How are the other kids in the house going to do? Luckily, I have the support of a lot of great friends in the Valley, my family, but as you can imagine, it's not easy. We have a lot of other, obstacles to deal with, but through the
Addison's crying because the phone's not ringing. 602-933-4567.
It's pretty difficult, but the good thing is Phoenix Children's Hospital, they take care of the whole family. Whether it's helping you gather resources, get to appointments, whatever it takes, they do the best they can to help you because they have the donations and because they can tap into additional resources. So it makes it easier, but when you look at her running around with blue eyes,
Beautiful.
starting to get the little curls, it's pretty tough. But we just take it one day at a time. Both my wife and mine's background just kind of teaches us to, tie up your boots and keep trucking the best you can. So that's what we're going to do.
This is James and Addison.
Wow.
Asking you, and Briana. James, Addison, and Briana asking you to call 602-933-4567.